Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you today is going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to want to close this video. You're going to feel like I'm attacking you, and do you know why? Because I'm right. You've built your entire life on a beautiful lie. The lie that unconditional love will save you, that being good always brings rewards, that blind loyalty is a virtue. And while you cling to that fantasy, the world devours you. Every betrayal you never saw coming, every stab in the back that caught you by surprise, every time someone you gave everything to left you with nothing, every one of those things happened because you believed in the fairy tale. Coldness is not cruelty, it is survival. And if it hurts to hear that, it's because you haven't yet learned the most important lesson life is trying to teach you through pain. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago when he wrote the rules of power that everyone denies, but everyone secretly follows. The problem is that you're still playing chess with the rules of checkers, thinking that nobility will protect you. It won't. The person who inspires the most confidence in you could be the one who hurts you the most. Not because they're evil, but because you handed them the knife and showed them where to stab. Coldness is not the absence of love. It is protection against inevitable human disappointment. Everyone, absolutely everyone, has a price at which they will sell you out. The difference between the naive and the wise is simple. The naive learn that price when it's already too late. You're thinking of someone close to you right now, someone you love unconditionally, your partner, your best friend, your dearest family member. Now imagine this. They betray you tomorrow. Your mind rebels. Impossible. That person would never do that. Perfect. That denial is exactly the problem. I'm not saying they will betray you. I'm saying they could. And you haven't even considered the possibility. That voluntary blindness is your greatest weakness. Machiavelli warned that the prince should be both loved and feared. But if he must choose, it is better to be feared. Not because fear is noble, but because it is more reliable. Love changes with circumstances. Fear remains constant. The people who love you today may hate you tomorrow when their interests shift. But the people who respect your strength will think twice before crossing you. Here's the part no one wants to hear. Being too good is an invitation to abuse. When you give without limits, without conditions, without expectations, you're not being generous, you're being foolish. Infinite generosity creates dependence and resentment, not gratitude. The person you always help without asking for anything in return doesn't see you as a saint. They see you as an infinite resource they can exploit. And they will. Not out of malice, but because you've taught them they can do it, without consequences. Your kindness becomes their acquired right, and the day you stop giving, they won't thank you for what you did. They'll complain about what you stopped doing. That's human nature, which you prefer to ignore. The coldness Machiavelli proposes is not sociopathy, it is strategy. It means keeping part of yourself unreachable, protected, out of reach even for those closest to you. Because that vulnerable part is what they will use against you when things go wrong. And things always go wrong. The perfect marriage ends in bitter divorce. The business partnership ends in lawsuits. Lifelong friendship collapses over a misunderstanding. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm being realistic. The only question is, when that happens, will you have given so much of yourself that nothing remains? Or will you have kept enough to rebuild? Look around you. How many people do you know who completely sacrificed themselves for someone else, who gave everything out of love, loyalty, or kindness? And where are they now? Broken, resentful, wondering how they could have been so blind. The tragedy isn't that they were betrayed. The tragedy is that they betrayed themselves first. They gave up their judgment, their instincts, their self-protection, all in the name of a love that turned out to be conditional. because all love is conditional, even when they swear it isn't. The conditions may be invisible, they may take years to show themselves, but they are there, waiting for the perfect moment to surface. Psychology confirms this. There's a phenomenon called the optimistic confirmation bias. We want to believe that the people we love are incapable of hurting us, so we ignore red flags, justify suspicious behavior, forgive the unforgivable. Not because we're compassionate, but because facing the truth requires admitting we were wrong to trust, and that hurts more than the betrayal itself. We prefer to live in a comfortable illusion than awaken to an uncomfortable reality. Machiavelli knew this. That's why he wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, because fear does not depend on your ability to self-deceive. Respect built on strength and clear boundaries survives when love built on fantasy crumbles. Now comes the part that's going to anger you. Coldness doesn't just protect you, it protects others too. When you set clear boundaries, when you don't allow others to abuse your kindness, you are teaching people how to treat you. You're creating honest relationships based on mutual respect, not one-sided exploitation. The person who knows there are limits with you will value you more than the person who believes they can do whatever they want without consequences. It's basic psychology. What is obtained easily is valued little. What requires effort is appreciated. If you're always available, always willing, always sacrificing yourself, you're not admirable. You're disposable. Here's the secret. The powerful know and the weak deny. Distance creates desire. Availability creates contempt. Machiavelli applied this to politics, but it works in all human relationships. The leader who is always present, always accessible, always accommodating loses authority. The partner who always yields, always forgives, always accepts, loses attractiveness. The friend who is always available, always helps, always says yes, loses value. It's not fair, it's not pretty, but it's true. Scarcity creates value. Abundance creates indifference. And you have become something abundant in the lives of others. So common they don't even notice when you're gone. You think I'm promoting manipulation, but you're wrong. I'm promoting clarity. Manipulation is making someone believe you are something you are not. Strategic coldness is not revealing everything you are, so you can protect yourself from the inevitable moment when that information will be used against you. We all wear masks. The difference is that some admit it, and others deceive themselves into thinking they're authentic while playing the role they believe others expect of them. Authenticity without limits is not virtue. It is recklessness. There are parts of you that must remain private, not because they are shameful, but because they are yours. Your inner sanctuary is not to be shared with anyone who approaches with a smile. Machiavelli wrote that the prince must learn not to be good, and to use goodness or not depending on necessity. It sounds cynical, but it's liberating. You are not obligated to be good all the time to everyone. You can choose when, how, and with whom to show your kindness. And that conscious choice is power. The problem is that you've been programmed to believe you must always be good with everyone, no matter how they treat you. That is not morality, it is masochism. True morality includes self-preservation. You cannot help anyone if you are destroyed. You cannot give love if you are empty. You cannot be generous if they've left you with nothing. Now the brutal question: how many times have you ignored your instinct just so you wouldn't appear cold, selfish, or disappointing to someone? That little voice that warned you, that gut feeling you ignored, that red flag you silenced because you didn't want to be the bad person in the story. And what happened after? They hurt you exactly the way your intuition predicted. But even then you justified, you forgave, you gave another chance. Not because you were noble, but because admitting you were right from the beginning would require acknowledging you wasted time, energy, and love on someone who didn't deserve it. And that is a pain you prefer to avoid, even if it means continuing to suffer. Coldness is not the absence of emotion. It is control over it. It is feeling without being dragged. It is loving without being blinded. It is trusting but verifying. Machiavelli understood that intense emotions cloud judgment, and clouded judgment leads to disastrous decisions. That's why the effective leader, the intelligent lover, the valuable friend, all maintain that psychological distance that allows them to see clearly even when they feel intensely. You are not betraying your feelings by controlling them. You are honoring them by not allowing them to destroy you. There's a fascinating psychological experiment. They put people in situations where they had to choose between helping a stranger or helping a close friend. But helping the friend meant harming many strangers. Most people chose the friend without hesitation. Tribal loyalty outweighs universal ethics. Now reverse the situation. That friend you would sacrifice strangers for, would they sacrifice others for you? Or are you the stranger they would sacrifice without a second thought when their true inner circle demands it? You don't know, do you? Because you've never allowed yourself to ask that question. You've avoided it because the answer might force you to reconsider the entire relationship. Most people live with dangerous naivety. They believe that because they wouldn't betray, they won't be betrayed. They believe that because they love sincerely, they will be loved the same way. They believe that goodness generates goodness in a perfect cycle of reciprocity. What a beautiful and deadly fantasy. The reality is that goodness often generates exploitation. Sincerity generates manipulation. Love generates dependency and eventually resentment. Not always, not with everyone, but often enough that caution becomes wisdom, not paranoia. Machiavelli advised that the prince must be both fox and lion. The lion to scare the wolves, the fox to detect traps. Apply this to your life. You need the strength to set boundaries and the cunning to see manipulation before you fall into it. Being only strong makes you predictable. Being only cunning makes you weak. The combination makes you formidable. But you have chosen to be lambs, trusting that wolves will respect your innocence. They won't. Innocence does not inspire respect. It inspires appetite. Here is the most uncomfortable truth. The people who love you most are also the ones who can hurt you the most, precisely because you've given them total access. They know your weaknesses, your fears, your secrets. And the moment the relationship sours, whether for real reasons or imagined ones, all that information becomes weaponry. I'm not saying they will use it. I'm saying they can use it easily. And the possibility alone should be enough for you to keep something in reserve, something you never share, something that remains inviolable even in the deepest intimacy. Culture has sold you the idea that total vulnerability is the goal, that you should open yourselves completely, show every scar, confess every fear, and you call that authenticity. But authenticity without discernment is self-harm. Not everyone who asks deserves an answer. Not everyone who listens deserves to know. Not everyone who stays deserves total trust. Intimacy must be earned continually, not granted once and for all. Because people change, circumstances change, interests change. The version of someone you met 5 years ago may be radically different from who they are today, but you keep trusting based on who they were, not who they are. Machiavelli wrote something devastating. It is better to be impulsive than cautious, because fortune is a woman and must be beaten. Let's leave the 16th century sexism aside and extract the lesson. Life rewards those who act decisively, but that decisiveness must be informed, not reckless. Coldness gives you the clarity to act forcefully when necessary, not to hesitate endlessly, but not to jump blindly either. It is the balance most people never find because they are too busy being reactive instead of strategic. Think about your most important relationship right now. How much power does that person have over you? They can ruin your day with one word, lift your mood with one smile, manipulate your decisions with approval or disapproval. And you call that love. But it is dependency. Real love makes you stronger. Emotional dependency makes you weaker. The difference is subtle but crucial. If that person disappeared tomorrow, would you collapse? Or would you move forward with pain, but with dignity intact? Your answer to that hypothetical reveals whether you are in a healthy relationship or an emotional addiction disguised as love. Machiavellian coldness does not mean not loving. It means loving without losing yourself. It means your identity, your value, your ability to function do not depend on the presence or approval of another. And that terrifies most people because they have built their entire existence around being needed, being loved, being validated by others. Take that away, and they don't know who they are. That's why they cling to toxic relationships, why they tolerate betrayal, why they forgive the unforgivable, not out of generosity, but out of terror of the void that would be left if they dared to be alone. There is a reason why the Stoics, philosophical contemporaries of Machiavelli, though with a different approach, preached detachment. Not because they didn't value relationships, but because they understood that excessive attachment guarantees suffering. Everything you love can be lost. Every person you value can leave. Every certainty can crumble. The only constant is yourself. And if you haven't cultivated that inner strength, if you've outsourced your emotional stability to others, then you're a structure waiting to collapse at the first tremor. Now comes the question you must ask yourselves with brutal honesty. Are you the ones who love unconditionally, or are you the ones who desperately need? Because they look identical from the outside, but are radically different on the inside. Unconditional love is free. It expects no reciprocity, requires no validation, does not shatter at disappointment. Desperate need disguises itself as love, but is control, fear, emptiness trying to fill itself with another. And that need is precisely what others detect and exploit. Not because they are evil, but because need invites manipulation the same way blood invites sharks. Machiavelli observed that men forget the death of their father more quickly than the loss of their inheritance. Brutal, but true. People are not loyal to you. They're loyal to what they gain from you. When you stop providing, when you stop serving their interests, when your perceived value decreases, loyalty evaporates. It's not personal. It's human nature. And denying it doesn't protect you. It makes you vulnerable. The one who understands this adjusts their expectations, protects their resources, and distributes their generosity strategically. Not out of meanness, but out of sense. How many times have you been the person who always pays, who always organizes, who always remembers birthdays, who is always available to help? And how many times have they done the same for you? And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. The disparity is revealing, isn't it? But you keep ignoring it because acknowledging it would require action, and action would require distancing yourself. And distancing yourself would require being alone for a while, and being alone terrifies you more than being exploited. So you keep giving, while they call you selfish the one time you say no. That is the dynamic of normalized abuse. Coldness teaches you to say no without guilt, to walk away without endless explanations, to prioritize your peace over others' comfort. And that does not make you a bad person. It makes you a complete person. Because a life lived to please others is not your life. It is a perpetual performance where you are the main character, but the script is written by others. And when the curtain falls, when you can't maintain the act anymore, you discover you've lived decades as a stranger in your own existence. There is a concept in game theory called Nash equilibrium. Simply put, it's the point where no one can improve their position by changing their strategy unilaterally. Apply this to relationships. If you always give and the other always takes, you are in an imbalance that benefits only one. To reach equilibrium, one of the two must change. And since the other has no incentive to change, they are winning, it must be you. You must become colder, more selective, more strategic. Not to hurt, but to balance. And if the relationship cannot survive that balance, then it was never a real relationship. It was exploitation confused with connection. Machiavelli understood that power is not evil, it is neutral. What matters is how it is used. Coldness is power over your emotions, your decisions, your life. You can use that power to protect yourself from unnecessary harm, to build more honest relationships, to live with integrity instead of desperation. Or you can reject it, clinging to the fantasy that pure goodness will save you. And when consequences come, when the inevitable betrayal appears, remember that you had the option to prepare, and you chose naivety. The last truth no one wants to accept. Coldness doesn't push people away. It draws the right ones in. When you stop being available to everyone, you become valuable to some. When you stop giving without limits, you attract those who value what you give. When you stop tolerating the intolerable, you create space for the extraordinary. But first, you must cross the desert of solitude, the period where your new coldness drives away parasites and hasn't yet attracted allies. That intermediate period is where most people break, return to old patterns, accept crumbs because the hunger is unbearable. Resist. What comes after is worth every moment of discomfort. So decide now. Do you continue playing the martyr, sacrificing yourself on the altar of one-sided relationships, hoping that someday your suffering will be rewarded? Or do you accept that Machiavelli was right? That strategic coldness is not a betrayal of love, but protection of your ability to love without being destroyed in the process? The world does not reward the good. It rewards the effective. And effectiveness in human relationships requires clarity, boundaries, and yes, a touch of coldness that keeps your core inviolable even when your heart is wide open. That is the paradox you must master if you want to survive intact in a world that devours the naive without remorse. And now tell me, after everything you've heard, are you going to continue being the lamb, or will you become the wolf who controls his own pack? If this video stirred something inside you, if it made you uncomfortable enough to recognize that I'm right, then you have two options. Close this and return to your comfortable fantasy, or stay here and keep awakening with every video I upload. Subscribe to this channel right now, activate the bell, because what's coming is even more brutal, even more necessary. And here's the important part. I want to know who among you truly understood the message. Go down to the comments and write exactly this. I choose coldness. That's simple. Those who do it, those who have the courage to publicly admit they're ready to change, will receive my personal response. I want to greet you one by one. I want to know that this didn't fall on deaf ears. So you already know. Subscribe, hit the bell, and in the comments, I choose coldness. See you in the next video, where we will continue destroying the lies you've lived with for far too long.